The hidden cost of ignoring your mental health, it costs executives millions. Let me show you the real numbers. Meet Sarah, a successful executive who thought mental health was just in her head. She was the typical example of a woman who handled everything. Her calendar was full from early morning to late evening. Meetings, decisions, leading a team, responsibilities at home, and yet she smiled. On the outside, she seemed calm, strong, professional. But on the inside, it looked very different. She ignored the warning signs from her body: anxiety, stress, poor sleep. She woke up with a tight stomach, and at night she woke up in quiet panic. But she told herself, "I've got this. It's just a phase." And then this happened. Short-term stress is not a problem, but complications arise when stress becomes chronic and you cannot switch off. Sarah didn't realize this. She went months without rest. She stopped taking walks, stopped listening to music, stopped painting. Her hobbies she once loved were put aside. Time for herself became a luxury she could no longer afford. One morning, during a crucial merger meeting, her anxiety peaked. She sat at the table with key partners. All eyes were on her. She was about to present the final decision, but her mind shut down. Suddenly, her body stopped cooperating. Her hands trembled. Her chest tightened. She couldn't focus. Everything blurred. She made a quick decision. That single moment of clouded judgment, it cost her company $7 million. That decision was influenced by her exhaustion and the signals from her body that she was under chronic stress. She could no longer connect with her intuition. She reacted impulsively, not from calm, but from anxiety. Only later did she realize the signals had been there for a long time. She had just dismissed them as weakness. When a person is constantly under stress, they can no longer see things as they really are. The brain functions in survival mode, not in clear thinking mode. Judgment becomes impaired because the constant tension affects perception of situations, people, even oneself. And that's not even the craziest part. New research shows that poor mental health reduces workplace productivity by 57%. Think about it. It's like working only half a year, but paying for the full one. And the rest of the time, you just function, but you don't create. You go to work, but your mind wanders, your energy collapses. And now the shock. The average manager loses $23,000 a year just due to mental health days and reduced performance. Days when you are physically present, but mentally completely gone. Days when you make mistakes, forget things, get angry, misunderstand your colleagues and even yourself. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. The real cost: missed opportunities, failed relationships, career delays. One study tracked 1,000 professionals over 5 years. Those who invested in mental health support earned 31% more than those who didn't. Mental health support also includes practicing gratitude, 15 minutes of meditation. A walk in nature also acts as mental hygiene. Here are the real numbers. Lost productivity, $23,000 per year. Missed opportunities, 5,000 plus. Career delays, 100,000 plus. Healthcare costs $12,000 per year. Total hidden cost, over $185,000 per year. It's like buying a Lamborghini every year and setting it on fire. And worse, you burn down with it. And that wasn't the end. After that fatal decision, Sarah had a mental breakdown. She could no longer function as before. Even simple decisions, what to wear, what to say in a meeting, exhausted her. She lost her confidence, her energy, even interest in the things she once loved. She had to seek professional help, not because she wanted to, but because she had no other choice. She started therapy once a week with a renowned clinical psychologist. 80 euros per session, 4 times a month, 320 euros per month. After half a year, It added up to over 1,900 euros just to stabilize her mental health. Later, she hired a mental coach who specializes in burnout among top executives. The cost, 450 euros per hour. At first, she saw him weekly, later every 2 weeks. In the first 5 months alone, she spent more than 4,000 euros without any guarantee that things would return to normal. And that wasn't all. To truly get back on her feet, she invested in a wellness retreat for burned-out leaders, a week in Tuscany. A special program for executives with meditation, breathwork, and biofeedback. The price? 6,500 euros, including the flight. A total amount Sarah invested to get back to normal. Over 12,000 euros in 9 months. And no, she didn't regret it. But she realized it could have been prevented. She just needed to listen sooner. Stop suppressing the warnings. Allow herself rest and mental care before her system collapsed. But here's the point, it doesn't have to be this way. Sarah lives differently today. She started going for walks without her phone. She learned to recognize when she needs a break. She began talking about her feelings first with her therapist, then with her colleagues. She isn't weaker. She's stronger than ever because she chose to stop before life forced her to fall. The story of Dimitri, when the body screams and you don't hear it. This is Dimitri, a 43-year-old head chef at a prestigious restaurant in Nevada, responsible for the entire kitchen team under enormous pressure every day. He had to be precise, fast, reliable. Everyone relied on him, and he never failed, at least on the outside. But behind the smile and the chef's apron was a man who had been running on empty for months. He wasn't sleeping. He worked 10 to 12 hours a day. He had shifts even on weekends, and when someone got sick, he stayed even longer. Instead of rest, coffee. Instead of sleep, a short break in the office. 4 hours of sleep became the norm. He woke up in the morning with headaches, fell asleep in the evening with trembling hands. But he kept going because he had a goal, because he was the boss, and the boss can't be weak. Until Saturday came, evening, during the biggest rush. Dimitri suddenly couldn't breathe. His heart was racing, his body froze, his knees buckled. Panic attack. He thought he was dying. 2 weeks later came the second, then the third. He began to fear his own body. And what did he do? Nothing. He told no one. He was ashamed. He thought it would pass, but it didn't. He was losing focus. He couldn't concentrate on even the simplest tasks. He forgot what to prepare, mixed up orders, mistakes piled up, guilt increased. And during that time, his partner left him. She told him he was mentally absent, that he was silent at home, that he was no longer the man she once loved. And she was right. Dimitri was exhausted, mentally empty. Eventually, he had to leave his job. Not because he was fired, but because he simply couldn't go on. Dimitri's body had been giving him signals for months. Fatigue, sleep problems, nervousness, outbursts of anger, but he ignored them. He told himself he would handle it, that real men don't cry, and so his body failed for him. It took what it needed. It stopped him. This is the result of long-term stress that goes unheard. Ignored stress does not turn into strength. It turns into collapse. And work wasn't the only thing he lost. His marriage fell apart. His wife endured it for a long time, but gradually he became someone else. Dimitri came home late, mentally exhausted, physically absent. His children barely saw him. And if he was home, he was silent, sat at the table, stared into space, occasionally gave one-word answers. His son once told him, "Daddy, you don't even play with me anymore." That was the moment his wife realized they were losing him. She tried to talk to him, offered couples therapy, but he refused. "I just have a lot of work. Everything is fine," he repeated. Until one morning, he sat on the edge of the bed and started crying. Nothing worked that day. His wife packed their things and left with the kids to her parents. He was left alone, no family, no job, no health. With a head full of questions. How did I get here? Why didn't I see it earlier? Why did I think I could handle it alone? Dmitry is not an exceptional case, but his story does not end here. Dmitry is slowly finding his way back. He began attending regular therapy sessions, both individual and group. He is working with a psychologist to understand his boundaries, learn to manage pressure, and restore inner peace. Once a month, he goes on relaxation retreats focused on mental regeneration, yoga, breathing exercises, nature, digital detox. These retreats and all his treatment are currently being paid for by his brother, who understood that Dmitry could no longer do it alone. His family supported him. This time, he didn't do it alone. He began building a new daily routine. Slower, more mindful. He no longer tries to fix everything at once. Just step by step, he is bringing his life back into balance. And he has one more plan. When he is back on his feet, he wants to contact his ex-wife. Not in hopes of persuading her, but out of respect. He wants to show her that he has changed. He wants to rebuild trust for himself, for her, and especially for their children. Dmitry's story is a warning, but also proof that hope is alive when you finally start listening, when you stop pushing and start caring for yourself, for your body, for your mind. For privacy reasons, we do not disclose detailed identifying information. The story has been adapted to protect the individual's identity, but its essence and reality remain authentic. The question is, how long can you afford to ignore your mental health? Eventually, it will show. Your body will always find a way to stop you, whether through panic, exhaustion, or breakdown. But you don't have to wait for a crisis. Many people wait and ignore mental health until something bad happens. Only then are they forced to face it. Until then, they just look away, take it lightly, because they are overwhelmed by responsibilities. Work, kids, partner, emails, meetings. But your mind does not heal on its own when you are under fire every day. Sarah realized this, and she saved herself and her company. Dmitry is now in a place where he is recovering from it all.